Coming up.
I don't tend to use a stopwatch at all until it's done.
Even though it looks like a 90?
Mine was as subtle as a brick.
You don't hear that very often these days.
Take a 30 and squeeze it all the way into a 90.
I'm actually really jealous.
That's nothing to do with us. We didn't do that.
How do you say that?
Yeah, but they were there.
There's definitely stuff that can be stripped from that script.
There's a raspiness to your voice that is amazing.
Accidentally, as it were.
Yeah, I think it's a really good talking point.
So if you haven't taken a big enough breath there, you're absolutely screwed.
Oh, I didn't put any breaths in, mate.
Does everyone get that?
I'm going to go and rethink my entire life now. Bye.
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
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 Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That, sponsored by VoxBox, the portable, foldable, storable audio booth. I'm here with Sam Boffin.
Hello, and I'm here with Mark Rice.
Indeed you are. This week we are, of course, chatting to a very special guest as we have fun with some scripts and explore the world of voiceover.
That sounds very highfalutin, doesn't it? So, if you're a podcaster or a director or a voiceover, or you just like listening to scripts, then welcome to How Do You Say That?
Well, today's fun fact about Sam is that she likes to do handstands on the beach.
I do,
Nice.
and cartwheels. I still do that, even though I used to do them when I was 8, and I'm now a bit older than that, but I still like to do it, and it's the only time I get to do them in the year.
I'm impressed that you're that supple that you can still do handstands and cartwheels.
Yeah,
it's been many years since I've done that.
It's not elegant. I tell you, it's not elegant and not something you necessarily want to see. But anyway, so Mark's fun fact is that this week he discovered a strange word in a script.
Oh my God, something I'd never come across before, Sam. The phrase shot peening.
And what
P-E-E-N.
the hell does shot peening mean?
I have no idea what it is.
You didn't look it up, or you didn't ask?
No, of course not. No. I just did it in the script. It's like, because they did this and this and this. And it's something to do with construction. Let's get to our special guest, though, shall we? Because today we're talking to voiceover Anthony Rudd. Hello, Anthony.
Hello there.
Lovely to have you along.
Lovely to be here.
Let's find out a bit about Anthony, shall we?
Yes, of course. So Anthony was born in the era of Sgt. Pepper and grew up during the 70s, practicing piano and recording the world around him. This is so sweet. Recording the world around him with his first microphone. That is the best thing ever. So at 16, he worked on Elton John's Ice on Fire album. Woohoo! And he then pursued, hooray! He then pursued a career in music, playing in various bands and occasionally appearing on BBC Six Music as a solo artist. Wow.
Yeah.
And then came voiceover. In the early 90s,
dun.
Anthony entered the world of radio, where he hosted his own shows on local and regional stations and worked as a flying eye traffic reporter on national stations. I did it locally. I didn't like that. He also started working as a voiceover artist and built his own professional studio. In his free time, he enjoys baking bread and painting. Very nice too. Have you got a fun fact for us, Anthony?
Yes, I have produced a couple of movies by taking old public domain movies. Night of the Living Dead was one of them. Monster from Green Hell, which is probably the worst B-movie of all time. And then myself and a bunch of other illustrious colleagues helped to overdub it with a comedy soundtrack, or both of them.
That is so cool.
So they're both on Amazon Prime. They feature Peter Dixon, Ruth Urquhart, Stefan Cornicard, Katie Moore, Katie Flamin, Rory
Lots of
Barnett.
names we all know.
I think I remember Stefan mentioning this, actually. How exciting. So did you all play multiple characters?
Yes, I had so many people volunteer to do it. I was very surprised because it was one of those COVID projects.
Well, on that exciting note, let's have a look at our first script of the show and ask, how do you say that?
How do you say that?
All right, so I brought a little commercial script for us today, Sam.
Yes,
a little
I see
Pride
that.
script. This is I've changed the name and the place name and the date and all of that, so it's copyright.
Is that
free.
an actual place?
No, I made it up.
I was
Ninbridge.
going to say, Ninbridge. Never heard of it. But, well, anyway, there
No,
you
I've
have
made it
it. It's obviously a 30-second it.
It is a
Even
30
though
second.
It looks like a 90, but
It does not look like a 90. It's like Sam
It's
always does this,
ridiculously long.
Anthony. It's like tries to take a 30 and squeeze it all the way into a 90.
my forte. Okay.
It's fairly fast paced. It's exactly what you would expect from a local radio commercial. That's what they want. They didn't want anything untoward or out of the ordinary.
Okay. And what do you know what was happening beneath it? Did you ever hear it?
Quite, no, I haven't heard it, but quite a peppy music track, apparently.
Peppy music track.
Peppy.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Peppy
You
Pride.
don't hear that very often these days.
You don't, do you?
No.
It's got an interesting in. It sort of comes in the middle, I always think.
And it doesn't say on Saturday, the 7th of September,
No.
so it's even weirder.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have a little go.
Excellent.
Saturday, the 7th of September. Join us for the 10th anniversary of Pride in Ninbridge. Gates open from midday at Higher Loxley with a great lineup of music, comedy, drag and cabaret through till 10 p.m, and it's free to get in. So whether you're LGBTQ+ or an ally, share the pride as we celebrate diversity and equality. Pride in Ninbridge, Saturday the 7th of September at Higher Loxley with headline sponsor Bank on Us. Details at ninbridgepridefestival.com.
It's quite a fair old pace, isn't it? Absolutely.
Sounded great, though, that.
Did
You've got
it?
the LGBTQ plus
It
slightly
was a bit of the
skew
wrong way round, but you know, they would have done a pickup
They
on that,
were
wouldn't
all
they?
in there. Everyone would be happy.
Just the wrong way round.
Yeah, but
Exactly right.
they were there.
It's really difficult, though. That's a mouthful, isn't it? It's difficult
The
to
breathing is quite difficult.
Yeah.
That second paragraph is longer than you expect, and just when you get till 10 p.m, there's a whole nother bit to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So if you haven't taken a big enough breath there, you're absolutely screwed.
Oh, do you know, I didn't take breaths particularly. I didn't think, I've got to take a big breath or anything like that.
Okay.
I didn't.
That's the way that you fit it into 30 seconds, though, Sam. That's the thing.
I reckon that was in 30 seconds.
Do you reckon?
I do.
I'm not so sure.
I do reckon it was within 30
I'm not
seconds.
so sure.
Well, you can argue it if
Oh,
you
I will.
like.
In the edit, I'll put a stopwatch over it.
Yeah, do.
You can do that at home as well.
Yeah, if you like. I mean, I'm not saying that you wouldn't want to sort of, nip and tuck a bit,
Tweak it. Okay.
in between, but I don't
But what
think
I'm saying
that I
is, does that
needed-
mean that you'd have to take the breaths out?
Oh, I didn't put any breaths in, mate. What's your problem? Okay, I got LGBTQ plus wrong, but, can't get them all right.
There isn't much time to breathe in a script like this. That's the whole point of it, and getting the meaning across is of course the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Anthony, do you do much commercial script stuff?
Not so much. No, I tend to get some promo scripts,
Yep.
but not so much commercial scripts. I don't know why. They don't seem to float in my direction for some reason.
And find that promos are somewhat slightly better written in terms of timing because they're not trying to fit a huge amount in,
Well-
and they've got up sound. Just from my experience, but
Sometimes,
Sam,
but
I
the-
suspect is.
Well, I don't know. The tags can be difficult because, of course, the
yeah.
gap that they leave for the tags
Yep.
is usually the middle gap, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And if they've got a long tag, that's often a tag that's been put in at the last minute. So it can sometimes be a bit of a rush to get. But I'm the same as you, Anthony. I get promos, lots of promos, but hardly any radio ads. And they are a different beast, I suppose.
They are.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, do you fancy a go?
Sure. Okay. Saturday the 7th of September, join us for the 10th anniversary of Pride in Ninbridge. Gates open from midday at Higher Loxley with a great lineup of music, comedy, drag and cabaret through till 10 p.m, and it's free to get in. So whether you're LGBTQ plus or an ally, share the pride as we celebrate diversity and equality. Pride in Ninbridge, Saturday the 7th of September at Higher Loxley with headline sponsor Bank on Us. Details at ninbridgepridefestival.com.
Really nice. All the facts came across there, and it
Nice.
was really understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
And yeah, I really liked it. Again, what do we think in terms of leisurely or not? What do we think, Mark?
Maybe a tiny bit leisurely. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I what I loved about it was that I thought that would have gone really nicely with quite a hefty track underneath it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
seem to be punching through. I quite
That's
liked
what
the
I
punch
was
in
kind
it.
of expecting
Yeah.
behind it, yes.
Yeah.
No, I liked it. I liked
Yeah.
it. I think the music is probably quite high energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
which is a real shame that I didn't have it when I recorded it, because otherwise it would have been really nice to just match the energy of it, you know?
Well, often you don't get it, so you don't know what it's
True.
going to be.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think with all of these kind of things, you nip 30 and a half and you just then go back and you try and get that extra second out of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you can always, in my humble opinion, you can probably tighten up between sentences as well. There's lots of nipping and tucking you can do to get something into a 30. Yeah.
I mean, when I do these, I tend to find that my first 2 takes are too slow.
Yep.
Then I do a really fast one. And then by take 4, it's probably the exact right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find it's always my second for some reason. It's always my second take that works.
I sometimes physically time myself with a stopwatch. Other times I rehearse it out of the booth and then I know roughly what speed to go.
I don't tend to use a stopwatch at all until it's done.
No, me either.
I work out how many words it is,
Yep.
and then roughly what speed that's likely to be. I think that's years and years of talking to time on the radio, though.
It's a very, very useful thing to have, that.
Yeah.
I look at the time on the timeline, actually.
I can't do that. Look at one thing and read another. I find it really difficult to do that.
Yeah.
I really envy people who can.
All right, I'm going to show you that I did it quite fast.
Give us a go then. Okay.
All right, here we go. Saturday the 7th of September, join us for the 10th anniversary of Pride in Ninbridge. Gates open from midday at Higher Loxley with a great lineup of music, comedy, drag and cabaret through till 10 p.m, and it's free to get in. So whether you're LGBTQ+ or an ally, share the pride as we celebrate diversity and equality. Pride in Ninbridge, Saturday the 7th of September at Higher Loxley with headline sponsor Bank on Us. Details at ninbridgePridefestival.com.
Lovely.
Always
And that was
good,
28 seconds.
Was it? Did you time it?
Yes, I did
Really
time
good.
it.
Nice.
Amazing.
Well, I'm glad I got it
Right.
in. Did you notice how I slowed down for the name of the headline sponsor?
I did.
And that's very, very deliberate because otherwise they go, you didn't give me enough of a mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good spot. Yes.
Yeah, I did. It had a rhythm to it, I have to
Yes,
say.
it did.
It
Yes.
had a very kind of promo-y,
Yep.
commercial rhythm to it.
I mean, this is nowhere near as badly overwritten as some of the things I get in,
No.
where there's no way you'll fit it.
But the trouble is it then becomes, this is what frustrates me about the overwriting, and even something like this, is it becomes then a test of can you get it in the
Yes,
seconds that you've got,
exactly.
which seems to me utterly pointless.
But I think all of the people that were on the circuit way back when they used to drive around and do commercials at local radio stations, and we all know the names that we're talking about, that was the skill. That was because there wasn't any time to go and
Yes.
rewrite anything.
I'm not disputing that it's not a skill in itself, and I think it is. I absolutely think it is. It's incredible, but it lends itself then to that kind of smashy nicey approach. That's, I think, what frustrates me about it.
But the Smashy and Nicey style was radio presenting. It wasn't commercials.
I think I've hit a nerve.
Anthony,
Let's
you've
move
had
on.
many years on the radio. What do you think?
Yeah, I've actually had a real problem when I first started doing voiceover, getting rid of that sound.
Yes.
Because
Yep.
it is a natural thing, particularly presenting on the BBC as I was doing for a while. You get this, you've got to enunciate properly for everyone to hear you kind of sound going. And it's
Couldn't be
difficult
more
to...
different these days, could it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I think now, whereas a lot of people got into to voices from radio, I think it's now possibly even a disadvantage. I think the radio presenter themselves, they sound a lot different now. And
They
are probably a far
do.
better bet.
I think when you talk about podcasting as well, Anthony, at this point in time, this kind of conversation that the three of us are having is a much more naturalistic conversation that you'll find on the radio these days.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, and I think it is, and perhaps that sort of conversational stuff and the rise of podcasts and all sorts of different things, it all feeds into a different style across the board,
Yeah.
doesn't it, really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's definitely stuff that can be stripped from that script that we
Yeah.
don't need.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And therefore more genteel and therefore more conversational. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take out a sentence
Yeah.
and it's a game changer.
I think what I'd get rid of in this case is it says if you're LGBTQ+ or an ally, share the pride in Ninbridge, Saturday the 7th of September.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
we
It is
celebrate
the-
diversity and equality, I don't think it's necessary,
Yeah.
really.
Absolutely.
No, because that's obvious that's what pride is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. That's a really smart nip, that one.
Yep.
Share the
Yeah.
pride in Ninbridge.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we fixed that one then.
We have fixed that. That's brilliant.
And it's worthwhile remembering these are real scripts that we've been working on, but we've changed names and some of the details to avoid copyright issues.
Yes, apart from in the next script, funnily enough, because Anthony, you've brought a promo that you actually did, haven't you?
Yes, it was a while back. It was for the comedy series Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I've never seen. I don't know anything about it, so I'm on the back foot here.
Okay,
so
controversial.
I think that is what's probably quite interesting then about this, because if you don't know the series, then it'll be interesting to see where you pitch it. Did you voice it to picture, Anthony?
No.
Ah, okay.
No, I didn't.
But did you have anything? Did they give you anything? Or did you know Ted Lasso at this stage?
I had the script and that was it. It was
Interesting.
recorded
So you
blind.
didn't know?
There wasn't even a producer.
Do you want me to have a go at it first, Sam? Because I come to it from a zero knowledge perspective.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Anything time constraint wise, Anthony, that I need to be aware of?
No, nothing at all. I wasn't given any knowledge of how long it was or anything at all. So you have all the information that I had.
Right. Trying to get into comedy brain here, but let's have a look. Because it may be that it needs to be something that the voiceover needs to be completely serious, so that the comedy clips in between actually work. And that, because I don't know that's the difficult bit. But let's give it a try. From Apple TV Plus, the 2-time Emmy-winning comedy series returns. It's time to believe again. Ted Lasso Season 3, now streaming on Apple TV Plus, subscription required.
Okay.
Very good.
Very nice. That was a lot bigger than I would do it. But I don't know if
fair.
that's right or wrong.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know if it's right or wrong, but my instinct would have been to take it right down. But that because that was promo style, I wouldn't dispute that. That was big.
I will reserve judgment until Sam has had a go.
Okay.
And then I'll do it the way I did it.
Yeah.
Exactly, because what's interesting about this is, of course, if you were doing it blind as you were, obviously you punt in a variety of different takes on it, don't you?
Yeah.
And one of them might land, or you hope that one of them will land.
Or that you would have some more direction at some point.
Yeah. So, from Apple TV Plus, the 2-time Emmy Award-winning comedy series returns. It's time to believe again. Ted Lasso Season 3, now streaming on Apple TV Plus. Subscription required.
Like it.
Hey, you took it down. Yeah.
You got the subtle, it's time to believe again. Because the time to believe was kind of the catchphrase of the first two series.
I kind of figured it probably was, because otherwise why would they put it in there?
And I think perhaps Ted Lasso's quite a whimsical comedy.
Yes.
It's got a light touch to it, so it's not a big comedy, boom-tish type comedy. It's quite a subtle, sweet, very British comedy, actually, which is why I took it down.
Yes, that makes sense. Absolutely it does.
And as I say, it'd be really interesting to see whereabouts we pitched it, whether we pitched it wrong, both of us.
I guess it's difficult to know without the clips as well, actually. But I guess, Anthony, if you didn't have that you were flying blind as well.
Totally. The way it ended up, it's this script interspersed with lots of little tiny sound bites from the series.
Yes.
With some quite raucous music.
Right, nice.
But I'll give it a read for you and
please do.
We can
Absolutely.
see how I did it. From Apple TV Plus, the 2-time Emmy-winning comedy series returns. It's time to believe again. Ted Lasso Season 3, now streaming on Apple TV Plus. Subscription required.
So it was big.
You were quite big there, weren't you? I love your voice, Anthony. There's a raspiness to your voice that is amazing.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Well, that answers our question. So it was it was actually quite a out there promo.
Yeah, but I did give them much lower down versions.
Yeah.
Because again, I thought it's a gentle comedy,
Yeah.
But no, I think that the lesson to learn is you never know.
Yeah.
Unless they've given you full instructions. So if you can, give as many different versions as you can,
Yeah, and I think
within reason.
It's a really interesting script because it doesn't give you many clues. The
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't
the
at all, does it?
writing is incredibly simple,
Yeah.
and it really only gives you where it is, the name. I mean, obviously, there's 2 lines in there. Well, there's 1 line in there. It's time to believe again, which is really the only emotive line, if you like. The other stuff is just fact. It returns. This is the name of it. It's streaming on Apple TV Plus, and you need a subscription. There's not a lot to go on.
No.
My natural approach to it was far subtler. If it's subtle, very subtle, but you know what I mean. It was pulled down. It wasn't as out as the one that actually that they needed.
Yours was subtle compared with mine, Sam. Mine was as subtle as a brick.
No, it was good.
Which was what they were after in the end.
Play How Do You Say That?
And of course now, woohoo, we do the wildcard bit of the show.
Oh, yes.
So now it's time to approach these very same scripts, but in a very different way.
So, Anthony, can you pick one of the scripts, please, and give one of us, you can choose which one you want, a new motivation or character?
Okay, well, Mark, you said that you found the Pride script a little frustrating because you weren't able to give it your full. So I'd like you to try the Pride in Ninbridge, and I want you to read it in the style of that touring voiceover of the 1970s and 80s that we were talking about, that used to go into radio stations and do the scripts.
Do you not think that's how I did it the first time?
No. Not at all. I think it was very, very different. And I'll be interested to see how you handle this in the old style.
Old school. I'm trying to throw my brain back. Okay. All right. Saturday, the 7th of September. Join us for the 10th anniversary of Pride in Ninbridge. Gates open from midday at Higher Loxley with a great lineup of music, comedy, drag and cabaret through till 10 p.m. And it's free to get in. So whether you're LGBTQ+ or an ally, share the pride as we celebrate diversity and equality. Pride in Ninbridge, Saturday the 7th of September at Higher Loxley with headline sponsor Bank on Us. Details at ninbridgepridefestival.com.
Oh, that's
so good.
fabulous.
So good.
Do you think I hit that?
Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, from the off, that tone felt so familiar, didn't it?
Okay.
Anthony, it just felt...
Scarily how easy it is to fall back into it.
Yeah, totally. I worked with Peter Dixon at Star FM in Slough.
Nice.
He was kind of the reason I thought this guy's got a good job. He was doing voiceovers for British Airways and getting flights everywhere. And I thought, wow, I'd like to do that.
Because Radio Wyford was about 200 yards away from my school, my secondary school.
Oh, wow.
So one lunchtime I just went up there and kind of started bothering them.
Yeah.
And rather than send me away with the flea in the ear, they got me to make tea and get records out and get adverts out and all of that kind of stuff. And
As
kind of
radio did in those days.
from
That's
there.
how I got into it pretty much as well.
Absolutely right. And those were the days, Anthony? Because people just don't have those breaks anymore.
No.
No, it's definitely not the same way.
Right, Sam, would you like to choose one for Anthony to do?
Yes, I would actually. And I'm going to do Pride as well. I'm going to take that Pride one.
Okay.
And I would like you to be... Now, there was 2 things. Well, no, I'm going to choose this one. I'd like you to be a museum curator showing a group of people around this particular exhibit. So this is an exhibit.
Okay, I'll see what we can do. Right. Saturday the 7th of September, join us for the 10th anniversary of Pride in Ninbridge. Gates are open from midday at Higher Loxley with a great lineup of music, comedy, drag and cabaret through till 10 p.m. Oh, and it's free to get in, you know. So whether you're LGBTQ+ or an ally, share the pride as we celebrate diversity and equality. Pride in Ninbridge, Saturday the 7th of September at Higher Loxley, with headline sponsor Bank on Us. Details at ninbridgepridefestival.com.
I could see you showing us around the exhibit there.
Lovely. That was so sweet. Now I'll take you around here and you can see this marvellous thing. Yeah, that was
I don't know about
lovely.
you, Sam. I kind of thought that style would go with a lot of different things that's very kind of in today.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It had just
Like
had
audio
a really...
guides and stuff.
Yeah, completely. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was fab. Just see.
How did it feel, Anthony?
Different. I don't do a lot of character work recently, so it's good to get.
I'm surprised
to air
you
it
don't
out.
actually. I would have thought your voice would lend itself well to character work. Actually, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd love to, but it always seems to be the same kind of stuff that floats in my direction.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, your go. I've got an
Okay.
A and a B for you to choose, and I don't care which one you do. Would you like to pick A or B? I've got two post-it notes in front of me,
Crumbs.
which is very organised for me, by the way.
B.
You want B? All right, okay. It is just there's the bit of paper. It's like,
Oh my God.
could you do the Apple TV Plus one, please?
Yes.
As an air stewardess,
Okay.
giving out meals. So I'm the passenger, and you're talking to me.
Okay.
You've got chicken and beef, but you suddenly realise that actually you've got no beef. You've only got chicken.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So you haven't got chicken and beef at all.
At all. I've got nothing.
At all.
Okay. All right.
Bing bong.
From Apple TV Plus, the 2-time Emmy award-winning comedy series returns. So, yes, it's time to believe again. Ted Lasso, season 3, now streaming on Apple TV Plus. Subscription required.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what?
That's
I could
amazing.
visualise that for you beautifully. Absolutely. That was lovely, Anthony, wasn't it?
Oh, brilliant! The bing bong was useful at the beginning as well.
It was
Just
useful.
to get
Just to
into
put you
character.
there.
Nice
To
to get
put
me
you
in,
there, exactly.
into character.
Yeah.
And don't worry, just because you chose B doesn't mean to say you won't get A next time.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't really a choice. It
Not
was
really.
just
You get to do them all.
I'm
That was
staving
really
off one
lovely.
until next time, basically.
Absolutely. Well, if you want to play along in the privacy of your own booth, we've put the scripts in the show notes so you can have a try yourself.
Yes, please do. Now, Anthony, this is
Yes.
a question that I've got for you. You have been involved in voiceover for a long time in some way, shape or form. What advice would you give to your younger self if you were starting again right now?
Oh, good question.
I would say be yourself. I think that's the most important thing that I've learned over the years.
Yeah.
Be yourself. It's that old phrase, isn't it? Don't pretend to be someone else. Everyone else is taken, or whatever it is. I'm paraphrasing. But
Isn't that the
producers
evolution that we go through, Anthony? Would
I
you have
think
got
so.
to where you are even with that advice?
I think there's a lot more to it, obviously. But I did waste a lot of time trying to be RP, the king of RP.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work, and I couldn't work out why it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I started to... I've basically got two accents. I grew up with... My grandmother was an elocution teacher.
My
So
mum
she
was an
would
elocution
beat
teacher.
RP into me.
Wow.
Yes, I say to people that I had it beaten into me, metaphorically, not literally.
Same. But I also went to school with kids local to me in the sort of Reading area.
Yeah.
So I was doing estuary at school and RP at home, and I've now got both those accents as sort of natural accents. I slip into them accidentally, as it were. So once I learned to use the estuary bit a bit more, then I found that I was getting a lot more success.
But I think that idea of being yourself is really important, actually. And would you say being yourself behind the mic, but also being yourself the other side of the mic? Do you think it works, as a whole package, as it were?
I think I was always myself without a microphone.
Okay.
I think I just felt that I had a telephone voice, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You discovered the mic very early, the world around you through a mic very early.
I was obsessed with recording things from a very small child. A cousin of mine gave me a tape recorder, reel to reel.
Nice.
And I used to record cartoons off the telly so that I could listen back to them later. Audio was an obsession, and so I ended up in a recording studio, and that's why I'm here, really, because I just love playing with audio.
Sam, what would you tell your younger self?
Do you know, I haven't even thought of that. I think, actually, to be able to understand what you really enjoy so that you can and what you're good at, but to be able to really capitalize on that. I'm not sure what I would say actually to my younger self. I asked the question, but I hadn't thought about the answer myself. What about you, Mark?
I think don't try so hard for me. I tried really hard to please people, a little too hard, and subsequently I worked and didn't have any work-life balance for a long time. And I think that wasn't terribly healthy.
No.
Yeah.
That's so
And I
easy
think
to do
I
as
would
well.
tell myself that you don't need to work quite so hard at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which again is being yourself, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think I do know what I would say, actually. I would say to myself, ask to have a go at something. Try and be more confident about asking to say, I'd love to have a go at that. Or
I never had
would
that
you consider
problem.
me for that? I was so, and still am actually, really shy. And
Me too.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to ask.
I overcompensate. I always come across as being really extrovert, but I am actually very, very shy.
Yeah, same as me.
You see, I do understand that, and you overcompensate for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you learn workarounds, I think, when you're actually
You do.
shy. I my older sister used to introduce me to people. When I was a little girl, to make friends on holidays, things like that. She would find the friends and I'd be the tag along. And I know that naturally I'm very shy.
Great discussion. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's
So
been
nice.
really good. A reminder that all of Anthony Rudd's details can be found in the show notes.
Yes, and so can today's script. And do subscribe to the podcast and give us a review on Apple Podcasts.
That's it for this week, though. Thanks again to Anthony Rudd. We'll be back next week with more scripts and another voiceover guest where we'll be asking, and Anthony, we all do the title of the show together now, when we'll be asking,
How do you say that?
How do you say that?